one word, hangovers, aka babalas. Yeah, so if you didn't listen to what we said in the last video, you are gonna end up in this position, and this is why we made this video for you.
Yeah.
Because you don't listen.
Not at all. So technically it's a consequence of your actions. But hangovers, we've all been there. It's a crazy thing to have early in the morning, and it kind of sucks.
It be like that sometimes. But yeah, so we're gonna give you guys a run through on how to handle a hangover.
Yeah.
The space.
Enjoy it.
So a hangover is a cluster of symptoms that are essentially caused by the effects that alcohol has on your body.
Yeah,
that's the definition.
Basically, and cluster, you should probably recognize these: headaches, nausea, abdominal pain, cramps, increased sensitivity to light, wanting to vomit. All those things happen because they're part of a hangover syndrome, and we can typically recognize this in the morning after you've drank a lot. And you guys should have listened to us in the last video, because now this is the consequence. If you pre-gamed and drank your fluids like you were supposed to and eat as much as you were supposed to, you probably wouldn't have been in this situation. But yeah, now we're here. Let's talk about how to handle it.
I'm talking to you. This is a personal attack on your character because you don't listen. See? So when you drink so much alcohol, alcohol acts on your kidneys, right? It acts as we call it a diuretic. So it acts on your kidneys and causes you to pump out so much fluid.
Yeah.
So when you pump out all that fluid, you become intravascularly depleted, and you have dehydration, right? When you have dehydration, these symptoms manifest as headaches, nausea, dizziness, all of that, right? And alcohol also causes harm to or irritation to the mucosa of so that's the lining of the stomach, right? So it causes what we call gastritis. But had you listened, but you don't, you wouldn't be in this position. So we made this video for you.
Yeah, and with the gastritis, it also increases your stomach's ability to produce more acid, and that just eats more away at your stomach wall as well. So you kind of need to try and decrease that.
So you have the cramps.
So it can also cause low blood sugar. Why is that?
So the thing is, alcohol has pseudo calories, so it has fake energy, energy packets, I guess. So you keep drinking, you're thinking because it gives you a sense of satiety. It stretches the stomach wall and then signals to your brain, and you have this false sense of satiety, right? And essentially your blood sugar dips, and then this makes the symptoms so worse that you get you start feeling lightheaded, you can have tremors and all of that. And this is part of a syndrome called hypoglycemia.
Yeah, and hypoglycemia can actually get so bad that you end up having seizures or coma. So try to sort of be smart about your drinking. That's mainly our message here.
Imagine dying because of alcohol.
Yeah, terrible.
Because you don't listen.
Alright, so let's talk about a few things you should and shouldn't do when you're having a hangover. Now, the first thing you need to do is rehydrate. If you didn't listen to us in the beginning and when we told you about drinking water and pacing yourself between your drinks, you're probably having this problem right now, because you probably spent the whole night urinating all your fluids out, and now you're dehydrated and having terrible headaches. So you definitely need to drink a lot of water to try and replace the fluids and electrolytes you've been losing. What shouldn't they do?
What you shouldn't do also, so when you have a hangover, you have a headache, you are sore everywhere, and quite naturally you want to pop a pill, And what's the most common pill you pop? It's a Panado, right? So Panado is contained in stuff like Grandpa and
Grandpa, Adderall,
I think
almost any aspirin kind of thing you can think of.
Over-the-counter pain medication you get usually have Panado in it. So that's what you should avoid. You shouldn't be taking Panado and you shouldn't be taking NSAIDs, because Panado is metabolized in the liver. And remember, alcohol messes with the liver, and we'll talk about this in a video to come. Watch the space. So alcohol overwhelms the liver, and Panado is also metabolized in the liver. Therefore, you are overwhelming the liver some more. So you are making things worse. So you shouldn't be doing that. With NSAIDs such as ibuprofen, indomethacin, etc., they sort of mess with the lining, the safety mechanisms of the stomach. Therefore, they worsen gastritis. So you will also be making the symptoms of gastritis worse. If you do want to pop a pill, you should consider activated charcoal. right? Activated charcoal. So activated charcoal you can get over the counter at your local pharmacist, who should recommend dosing for you, depending on your demographic. So activated charcoal goes into the stomach, and it's sort of so you should take it within an hour of consuming alcohol, probably before bed. So activated charcoal essentially chelates or binds to the alcohol, and therefore it doesn't go into your bloodstream.
It's a pretty useful drug. We kind of use it for like intoxications, and when patients come in after overdose and other things like that. So it's really useful to actually use it. One thing you should definitely be doing is eating a lot as well. Not a lot, but just have something to eat over the course of the day. Emphasis on high meals that are high in carbohydrates, as well as fatty foods like eggs that contain an amino acid known as cysteine. Cysteine helps you break down acetaldehyde, which is a toxin that comes from alcohol breakdown. So foods containing cysteine and foods that are high in carbohydrate can definitely help you get rid of the toxins quicker.
And what else you shouldn't be doing is doing strenuous exercises, right? So I mean, I don't need to name drop, but my homies Joe, my homies SR, stay away from the strenuous exercises, because essentially when you're exercising, you're sweating and you're losing fluids. So therefore you're worsening the dehydration, right? And you're also building up lactic acid, and lactic acid and acetaldehyde in the muscles just worsen the cramps. So you're not helping anybody here. So stay away from strenuous exercises.
Not at all, terrible idea. And on to the exercise thing. One thing you should definitely be doing is resting, because it's been proven that complete sleep for at least 8 to 6 hours, or 6 to 8 hours, sorry, that's the other way around. But sleep just helps, you know, you rest your body, you're not out and about doing things that are just probably worsening your dehydration. At least rest for a few hours before you do anything strenuous, but bed rest definitely helps, so try to get a lot of that.
I don't know whose idea it was that you should drink more alcohol when you're hangover.
Terrible idea.
You shouldn't do that.
Why would
alcohol,
you do that?
Alcohol essentially will come and do what we said it's gonna do. So you're making it worse. It's like filling a hole by digging another hole. So you're not.
Why? It makes no sense to drink more alcohol to get rid of a hangover. You're just gonna have it.
Alcohol.
Yeah, don't do it at all. So yeah, guys, those are just a few tips we have for you on at least surviving a few of your hangover symptoms. It's not a curable thing. In fact, the only cure is
stay away from alcohol.
But because we know you won't do that, at least try to follow the tips we gave you in the previous video, so you can try and drink a little responsibly. But if you don't do that as well, we're where we are now, hangover symptoms.
And if you have any home remedies that we might have missed, just pop them in the comment section down below, and let's discuss on the scientific basis of how to cure hangover.
What do you do when you have a hangover? Please let us know.
Right, so Alex and Phil from the
we
third
got
space.
confused a lot of times.
So thanks for watching, guys.
Enjoy your day.
Like, subscribe, share with your aunt.
Third.